Alright, thanks. See ya. Someone asks if Chappelle will be at this town hall. I'd say there's a small chance that it could happen, that he could make a surprise appearance. Why? Media coverage. Ding, 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 ding.
Calling.
Matt.
Oh, you did the Zach Matt show.
Yeah. I recognize your name. Have you donated before?
I've donated, and I've been around just shooting for Yang Gang.
Like, have you donated through this thing, the Yang Game?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's fire. Because, wait, let me search your name on the donations.
I don't think I've donated a lot.
I know, but I recognize your name. Type it in. I've certainly given other people donations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, nice.
This guy right here has donated. Is it Macaulay?
Macaulay, yeah.
Macaulay has donated through the yanggame.com, and you guys should donate through the yanggame.com right now.
Yeah.
He donated $8.88. The lucky numbers.
Agents free aid.
Who can match Macaulay right now with the $8.88 donation?
We need the free meal right now.
Are you here in Iowa, like from out of state, or do you live here?
Yeah, I'm from out of state.
Okay, where are you from?
California.
California.
I'm staying here the whole month. I've been shooting, and I'm going to be a precinct captain as well. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Doing everything we can. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. How'd you learn about Andrew Yang?
I was training to do MMA, and in March 2018, Bleacher Report wrote an article about how he was saying, talking about UFC fighter pay inequality. And I was like, wait, not only does this guy watch the UFC, he's paying attention to that level, he's one of us. So, that's it.
Easy.
Yeah.
Early in the campaign, and now
games.
you're here in Iowa for the whole month volunteering.
Yeah.
And a precinct captain. Awesome,
We
dude.
do what we can.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Sarah, for the $5 donation, Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Thank you,
yeah.
Antonio, for the $25 donation, Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com.
These are just happening right now?
These are from earlier while I was driving.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Moses, for the $10 donation to Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Ooh, look at live in action shot. Thank you, Cynthia, for the $10 donation, Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Thank you, Judy, for the $5 donation, Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Thank you, Lamont, for the $5 donation to Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Thank you, Justine, for the $10 donation, Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Thank you, Laura, for the $8 donation to Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Thank you, Erica, for the $5 donation to Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. And what we've decided is that we are gonna, since the last stream was so messed up, we're gonna keep the bidding and the donation goal where we were at from the last stream, which means the current donor, top donor, is still gonna be Donnie at $101. Donnie is the donation leader at $101. Can we fill up the whole donation bar before the stream begins? Is that a thing? Can we reach the $1,000 goal before the stream begins? Do you have like a Twitter or anything? Shout it out.
Oh, I'm at Macaulay Kong, MACAULAYKONG.
Here, let me pull it up.
If you want to see good shots of the Yang Gang in action, check it out. The Yang Gang out here have been doing amazing work. I'm doing my best to show everybody.
Oh yeah, I've seen your name on Twitter before.
That's sick.
Guys, follow him right now at MACAULAYKONG. Let's look at your photos. Let's judge you on live stream. Let's look.
You're just like in the thumbnail right there.
Oh no, these are pretty good. Oh, Kai Watson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, get us outside here. Come on. Oh yeah,
This is like a
that.
scaffolding here.
I mean, you can feel free to come.
Evelyn. Am I kicked out?
No, you're good.
This new thingy is so cool.
Julian. I think we met there.
Thank you, Zachary, for the $8.89 donation to Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Yo, what's up? John just called me. I wonder what that could be about. Let me go in chat. Let me go in YouTube chat. John, you called me? Guys, we gotta fill up the donation meter before Andrew Yang starts speaking. Yo, what's up? What does that shut down the server?
From time to time, it's fine.
No. If that shuts down the server, it's gonna mess up the YouTube
It's fine
event.
to come back here, but just don't this.
Oh, okay. Let me tell the
These things happen. These things happen. Thank you.
No, for real. No, coming out to Iowa, that's what we need.
And guys, like I've been working, like organizing back home too, like Oregon. Like I gave him a shout out. I think earlier. They've been doing amazing work. He puts together a table.
Oh yeah.
Sense of
At the live
respect.
stream.
They raised some money for the campaign, and they also donated to somebody who has a brain cancer GoFundMe too.
Wow, that's awesome.
Make a real difference.
Yeah, we have amazing people all over the country. So that's why we're gonna win. We good, John? Hello, are we good? Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Donate to Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com, THEYNGGAME.com. Alright, sweet. Thanks, man. Wow, thank you, Jacob, for the $25 donation to Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com donation link. Thank you, Gregory, for the $8.88 donation link. So I'm going to tell you guys another reason why you should donate. So tonight at 8 p.m., Andrew Yang Dave Chappelle is holding a fundraiser at Iowa State University for Andrew Yang. And since I don't really have anything to do between now and then, I'm going to actually take a nap in my car because I am like dead. So if you guys want me to get a good nap, we have to hit all of our donation goals. Otherwise, I'm gonna not be able to sleep because I'm gonna be so stressed out that we didn't raise the money that we need to raise for Andrew Yang. Basically, we have to raise as much money as we can. Guys, Dave Chappelle is gonna be knocking on doors today in Iowa with Andrew Yang. If that doesn't get you excited about this campaign, then let me think of something that will get you excited. So the campaign is going to be filming the Dave Chappelle door knocking, and then the live stream of Dave Chappelle, there will be no live stream. However, thank you Jay Cobras for the $20 donation to the Zach and Matt show. But we always prefer the donations to go directly to Andrew Yang through the yanggame.com. Thank you, David, for the $1.05 donation. Really appreciate you, David. So we're gonna launch a new game right now. We're gonna launch a new game right now. So right now the top donor is currently Donnie at $101. Whoever has the highest donation during the stream is going to get a shout out from the man himself, Andrew Yang, on camera. But we have a special going on right now for our small dollar donors in the chat. Basically, I have a number in my head, and it's between $1 and $5. And it's going to be like, I'll just throw out something that it's not, like $4.73 or $2.32. I have a number. I'm going to write it down in my head right now. I'm not going to write it down in my head. I'm going to write it down in my notes section. We also have to get a shout out for Alan from last night. So I'm going to put this number in my head. Okay, I just came up with the number, so it's between $1 and $5, and whoever donates the exact amount first gets a shout out from Andrew Yang. This is for our small dollar donors. Donate, 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 donate. So to get better audio, we set up by the speaker. But I actually might move to get slightly better audio. In fact, I am. We're gonna move.
Did I keep getting in the way?
No, you're good, bro. I'm moving.
For Wi-Fi?
I'm moving to get better sound. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep. What organization are you with, by the way?
I'm sorry.
What organization are you with, by the way?
Myself?
Oh, you're just
I'm
freelance.
Freelance.
Awesome. You want to give a shout out to like your website or Twitter or anything like that?
I followed y'all,
You follow? Oh yeah.
and everything I do goes through Twitter, so maybe you can follow that back.
What's your Twitter?
Well, yeah, the main one to follow, which is not the one I'm NASC Hart, NASC, and then Hart, HART, and then Inc, INC for Incorporated. NASC Hart
How do
Incorporated.
you spell NAS?
NASC, the first four letters of NASC.
HART.
Yeah, and then INC. You get it?
Yep.
I don't have a beard? Yep. Is that me?
Oh wow. Unrecognizable. All right, guys, follow the freelance journalist here at NASCHARTINC on Twitter. And give him a big Yang Gang shout out for coming to all these events and covering Andrew Yang. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Kim, for the $5 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Let me pull up the internal ActBlue page here. Thank you, Crystal, for the $3.50 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Unfortunately, that is not the number that I wrote down in my notes. Thank you, Jorge, for the $4.20 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com.
Just a few housekeeping, if you can please.
But that is also not the number.
Silence your phones or put them on vibrate, please, just so we can have a good quality for the user and for everybody.
Thank you, Colin, for the $4.20 donation. That's also not
I am happy to be here in Nevada. I haven't been in this part of Iowa in a really long time. I actually went to school in Ames, so I'm I graduated with my degree in biology. I'm from Sioux City, and I went to Portugal for my master's. in Italy for my PhD.
Fill
I was
up the
still
donation
there
bar
up
before
until
Andrea
November
gets
when
out
I decided to come back. And it was in May when I first heard of Andrew Yang, and I bought his book. And it made me have this feeling where, okay, if I keep doing like this, where I should be doing something for this candidate, for this message, for humanity, then I should just go. If I don't like it, I'll go back to school and everything will be fine. And I'm here. And now we were in Sioux City yesterday, Council Bluffs, we're hitting all Iowa, it's amazing, it's beautiful. And meeting all the volunteers from, I mean, we have people from Massachusetts, LA, Florida, everywhere, all the country are coming here to Iowa to help us spread this message. So, if you can, this final week that we have before the caucus, please put your energy to work. It's cold, I know, but we can make some phone calls. We can try to knock doors as a team. It's important, and I really hope everyone can join us. We have a week now, but then after Iowa, we have to return the favor to all those folks that came here. We should go help our friends in Minnesota, go to Nebraska. Anybody want to go to California maybe, warm up a bit? But yeah, so please, thank you very much. Now I'm going to introduce someone pretty accomplished. I'm going to read a list. I had to prepare a list for you. He is a board member of the Story City Greater Chamber Connection, a Marshalltown city planner, a Latino community activist, and a fellow ISU alum. His name is Caleb, there he is again, Vincent, and he will be hopefully sharing some good things about Nevada, the community, and all of Iowa. So please, everybody, Caleb Knudsen, everybody.
Good afternoon. So my name's Caleb, like you said, and all those things they're true-ish. Accolades, who really cares? I don't. But what I like about Andrew is he's a father like myself. And when I talk to my kids about the future, I'm telling them it's STEM. I'm telling them, okay, you want a future, we need to have a viable option. And that's what I really like when Andrew talks about the things. He's talking about, because I had a friend who was into trucking, does it part-time, he was talking about buying a whole fleet. I told my buddy, you gotta stop and think about that for a second. Because Tesla's coming out with trucks. So if you buy this whole fleet, go with all that debt, and all of a sudden, wonderful. Andrew's a great candidate to support the caucus. There's a lot of great candidates. We've had some great candidates drop out, to be quite honest. But do we want a candidate up there who you have to pay to see $250? That's absurd. Any candidate that you have to give your money to get a private sit down with, that's not a candidate you want to support. You want a candidate who's out there with the people, who's thinking about you and your future, and your children's future, or your grandchildren's future. Not just thinking about the next step to take in the political process. So that's why, when I was asked to introduce Andrew, I was like, yeah, it seems like a really solid dude. I've read a lot of his policies because I'm a policy nerd, and that's what you do. And so it's just one of those things that we're all here to listen to him talk, but really, in 6 days, when you're in that room and there's those 3 counts, you really got to think, who is going to be there for you in the future? Who's going to be there for your kids, your grandkids, your friends? Because you don't want to see a friend fail. I don't want to see my buddy fail because he loves trucking, but once he gets into it, probably a robot's going to take his job. So what's he going to do? I don't want my kids to go to school, pay all this money, and then all of a sudden, automation. This is what is so impressive about this campaign to me, is how forward-thinking it is. And I don't just mean it's progressive values, I mean it's beyond that. it's technological progressive values. And that's not something that you hear a whole lot, if at all, from other candidates. So, I would like to introduce the next President of the United States, Mr. Andrew Yang.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Nevada. How are you? It is phenomenal to be here. I love campaigning here in Iowa every single day because you all are among the most powerful, influential people in our country. I know it doesn't feel like it, just living your lives, checking out the presidential candidates when they come through. But I've done the math. Do you know how many Californians each Iowa caucus goer is worth? 1,000 Californians each. So look around this cafe. How many of us are here together? I'm going to give a Trumpian estimate. There are 900 people here. Biggest crowd anyone's ever seen. I think there are about 50 people here, but 50 Iowa caucus goers is the equivalent of more than one football stadium full of Californians. That's the power you all have to do something the rest of our country only dreams about, which is push this nation in a new direction. Now, if you've seen any of the TV ads, first raise your hand if you've seen the TV ads. Well, that's good, because we spent a lot of money on those ads. But if you've seen the TV ads, you know that I'm not a career politician, I'm an entrepreneur and problem solver. And I'm running in large part to address a challenge, a question that we've been struggling with for the last 3+ years that we still haven't gotten our arms around. And that question, that challenge is this: why is Donald Trump our president today? How did he win Iowa, a purple swing state, by almost 10 points? If you turned on cable news at any point over the past 3+ years, we've been offered a series of explanations as to why he's our president. Go ahead and shout out some of the explanations that we've been offered. Not a politician. Turnout. NAFTA, trade. Hillary Clinton. Emails, Russia, electoral college, racism, all sort of mixed together and said this is why Trump is our president. But Nevada, I'm a numbers guy. I went looking through the numbers for an explanation and I found it. We eliminated 4 million manufacturing jobs in this country over the last number of years. And where were those jobs located? Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, Missouri, Pennsylvania, and 40,000 right here in Iowa. I have been to those towns, and after the manufacturing jobs dry up, the shopping district closes, people leave, the school shrinks, and that town has never recovered. I saw the same pattern play out in Missouri, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, because I spent the last 7 years running a nonprofit that helped create thousands of jobs in those environments. This is how Trump wins Iowa by almost 10 points. And unfortunately, what we did to those manufacturing jobs, we are now shifting to other parts of the economy. How many of you noticed stores closing around where you live here in Iowa? And why are those stores closing? Amazon, that's right. Amazon's like a spaceship sucking up $20 billion in business every year, closing 30% of our stores and malls. I was just at a mall 2 days ago here in Iowa where the JCPenney closed. And you know that these malls can go from cheery to spooky awfully quickly. The most common job in the economy is retail clerk. The average retail clerk is a 39-year-old woman making between $8 and $12 an hour. What is her next job after the store closes? How much did Amazon pay in taxes last year? Zero. That's the math, Nevada. 20 million out, 30% of stores close, most common job disappears, and you get zero. You can see these changes around us, but they're more pervasive than most of us realize. When you all call the customer service line of a big company, and you get the bot or software at the other end, you probably do the same thing I do, which is you pound 000, say human, representative, over and over again until you get someone. Raise your hand, that's what you do. Oh yeah, that software is terrible. You're like, a person works for this company somewhere and I'm gonna find them right now. But in 2 or 3 short years, the software will sound like this. Hello, Andrew, how are you? What can I do for you? It'll be fast, seamless, efficient. You might not even know it's software. What will this mean for the 2.5 million Americans who work at call centers right now, making $10 to $14 an hour? Caleb talks about truck drivers. How many of you all know a truck driver here in Iowa? It's the most common job in 29 states. My friends in California are working on robot trucks that can drive themselves. They say they're 98% of the way there. A robot truck just transported 20 tons of butter from California to Pennsylvania 4 weeks ago with no human intervention. Why did they choose butter for this maiden voyage? I have no idea. But if you Google robot butter truck, you will see the story. At the end of the route was a giant stack of pancakes. I made up the pancakes, but everything else is real. What will this mean for the 3.5 million truck drivers in our country, or the 7 million plus Americans who work at truck stops, motels, and diners that rely upon the truckers getting out and having a meal every day? How many of you have been to Iowa 80 in Davenport? Me too, they've got an excellent buffet. They say 5,000 people stop there every day. How many people will stop there if the trucks don't have drivers? Nevada, we're in the midst of the greatest economic transformation in the history of our country, what experts are calling the fourth industrial revolution. Chances are you never even heard a politician say fourth industrial revolution until just now, and I'm barely a politician. Iowa in many ways has been ground zero for this set of changes. You saw it on your farms with the mechanization and consolidation of a lot of the farming jobs. Then it shifted to your factories. Now it's on your main streets. Soon it will be on your highways. This is real. This is no longer the stuff of science fiction. I am friends with some of the people that are building this technology right now. And they are backed by hundreds of billions of dollars in financial incentives to keep making progress in this direction. So this is why Donald Trump won. And unfortunately, it's going to get more extreme still because this technology is getting smarter and faster, and we are lucky to stay the same. You know what I mean? Maybe our kids are getting smarter, but the rest of us, we're just like hoping not to get dumb. So I went to our leaders in DC and I said to them, hey, what are we going to do to help our people manage this transition? We're scapegoating immigrants for problems immigrants have very little to do with. If you go to a factory in Michigan, you don't find wall-to-wall immigrants doing work. What do you find? Wall-to-wall machines and robot arms doing work. And I went to our leaders in DC and said, how are we going to actually help our people transition through this time? And what do you think the folks in DC said to me when I asked them, what are we going to do? Put your DC hat on, Nevada. Number one, we cannot talk about this. That's actually verbatim. Number two, we should study this. Number three, we must educate and retrain all Americans for the jobs of the future. Raise your hand if you've heard that. Yeah, we've all heard that. It sounds all right, but I'm the numbers guy. I looked at the studies. Do you all want to guess how effective the government-funded retraining programs were for the manufacturing workers who lost their jobs in the Midwest? You know it's low because I'm anchoring you low. But you also know it's low because you know people. You know if you have hundreds of manufacturing workers who lose their jobs, they don't all march outside and say, I'm here for my coding and training program now. I'll be coding in no time. The success rates were 0 to 15%. They're a total dud. Almost half of the manufacturing workers who lost their jobs in the Midwest left the workforce and never worked again. Of that group, almost half filed for disability. We then saw surges in suicides and drug overdoses in those communities to the point where America's life expectancy has now declined for the last 3 years in a row. You know the last time America's life expectancy declined 3 years in a row? World War II is a very good guess. Great Depression is a very good guess. It's a little bit further. It's the Spanish flu of 1918, a global pandemic that killed millions. You have to go back that far because it's highly unusual for life expectancy to go down in a developed country. It ordinarily goes up and up because we're getting stronger, richer, healthier. But here in the US, it's gone down and then down and then down. So when I said this to the folks in DC, one of them said something that brought me here to you all today. He said, Andrew, you're in the wrong town. No one here in DC is going to do anything about this because fundamentally, this is a town of followers, not leaders. And the only way we would do something about it is if you were to create a wave in other parts of the country and bring that wave crashing down on our heads. And I said, challenge accepted. I'll be back in 2 years. And that's how I came to run for president. That's why I'm here with you today. We have to rewrite the rules of this economy so that you're not getting sucked dry by these megacorps that are laughing all the way to the bank. We have to see to it that that value actually comes back to you. Now, you know I want to give every American $1,000 a month from the ads or whatnot. Raise your hand if you thought that was too good to be true, a gimmick, not possible. I understand, but it's not my idea and it's not a new idea. Thomas Paine was for it at the founding of our country. Martin Luther King fought for it in the 60s. 1,000 economists, including Milton Friedman, endorsed it. And it was so mainstream it passed the US House of Representatives twice in 1971 under Nixon. And then 11 years later, one state actually passed a dividend where now everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And what state is that? And how does Alaska pay for it? And what is the oil of the 21st century? Technology, data, AI, self-driving cars and trucks. A study came out recently that said that our data, your data, is now worth more than oil. How many of you saw that study? How many of you got your data check in the mail last month? If your data is now worth billions of dollars a year and you're not seeing a dime of that, then who's getting all that money? Amazon, Facebook, Google, Apple, and the trillion-dollar tech companies that are paying nothing or next to nothing back into our country. You see how this game works, Nevada? Know that feeling you had that somehow things are going on and you're getting depleted? It's true. You are. So in this context, it's actually perfectly reasonable for us to go up and get some of this value that's leaving your community, tiny slice of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Facebook ad, every robot truck mile, and bring it back to you in the form of this dividend of $1,000 a month, particularly because when you have this money, where will it go? How much of it would stay right here in Iowa? Most all of it. Not all of it. You might get your own Netflix password. But most of it would go to car repairs you've been putting off, and daycare expenses, and Little League signups, and local nonprofits, religious organizations. Nevada, this is a trickle-up economy from our people, our families, and our communities up. And unlike anything anyone else is talking about, this would work. We know it would work because we know with this money in our hands would just get pumped back through our local economy over and over again. When I said this to the legislators in Des Moines, I had reps from rural areas come to me and say, this is the only thing that would actually work to give rural towns a path forward. This is how we balance the economy out between rural areas and the big cities that are now more extreme than ever. Raise your hand if you're a parent like me and Evelyn. If you're a parent, you've had this sinking feeling that we're leaving our kids a future that is less secure, less prosperous, less bright than the lives that we have led. You know why you feel that way, Nevada? Because it's true. If you were born in the United States of America in the 1940s, there was a 93% chance you were going to be better off than your parents. That's the American dream. That's what brought my family here. That's what we all aspire to for our kids. But if you were born in the 1990s in the US, you're down to a 50-50 shot and it's declining fast. That is why we feel the way we do. That is why our young people feel like the deck is stacked against them. Because it is. So this is how we can fix it. Imagine a country where we can look our kids in the eyes and say to them, your country loves you, your country values you, and your country will invest in your future. That is what you all can make possible on February 3rd. And in the context of the most extreme winner-take-all economy in the history of the world, that's about to accelerate and get much worse as technology leaves the lab and starts ripping through organizations, this dividend actually goes from being dramatic to vital and necessary very, very quickly. This set of ideas is how someone you never heard of a year ago has already outcompeted half a dozen senators, governors, members of Congress. We raised $16.5 million last quarter in increments of only $35 each. So my fans are almost as cheap as Bernie's. But there was no corporate PAC money in there in Nevada. This is all just people trying to make our government work for us again. Because who's it working for right now? Washington, D.C. today is the richest city in our country. Think about that for a second. What do they produce? We're not sure. But business is awfully good. Donald Trump said he wanted to drain the swamp. I want to do something a little bit different, Nevada. I want to distribute the swamp. Why do you employ hundreds of thousands of workers in the most expensive city in the country? Why wouldn't you move some of those jobs to Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Iowa? You would save billions of dollars off the bat, and I would argue that these agencies would make better decisions because they live someplace normal and not in DC where they just talk to each other all the time. I'm for term limits for members of Congress. Their job should be to represent you and then come home. It should not be to go there and then try and stay as long as possible. And Nevada, I know how we pass it. I will be your president a year from now. Thank you for that. And then I will go to Congress and say, hey, we should have 12-year term limits for all members of Congress. But current lawmakers are exempt. Do you think they'll pass that? Yeah, they would. They would pass that the next day. They would say, we do this for the American people. Because it doesn't affect them. They're kind of like grandfathered in. But eventually they get phased out and we wind up with a legislature that's actually listening to us. You have record high corporate profits right now, but our life expectancy is going down. Which do you listen to? We're being told how great things are, but we know things are not great in our families, in our communities. We have record high corporate profits right now in the United States of America. You know what else are record highs? Suicides, mental illness, financial insecurity, student loan debt, depression, substance abuse, drug overdoses. You know what are record lows in the United States of America right now? Starting a business for a young person, getting married, having a kid, all the things that you associate with a thriving society are now at record lows. This is what we have to change. We have to make the measurements of our economy about how we are doing and not how the companies are doing. I know how wrong the measurements are because of my own family. Evelyn's at home with our 2 boys every day, one of whom is autistic. How much is her work valued at in our economic measurements? Evelyn gets a 0. So does every stay-at-home parent in our country. How about caregivers taking care of ailing loved ones? Also a 0. How about volunteers and activists trying to do something positive? That gets a 0. How about coaches and mentors trying to make our kids better? 95% of artists, hate to say it, they're artists here, but you know one thing you don't think about, Nevada, but it's crucial, local journalists. We have put almost 2,000 local newspapers out of business over the last number of months because all their revenue went up to the internet, and you can't run a newspaper on that. And so now we have 200 counties in the country that don't have any local news. You know what doesn't work as well if you don't have any local news? Democracy. Because how can you vote on what's going on in your community if no one's even covering what's going on in your community? Nevada, these are the things that we claim to value most in our lives. Our children, our families, our communities, our democracy, and they're being zeroed out one by one by one. The case you have to make to our fellow Americans on February 3rd is that we don't work for the economy works for us. When I started running, my wife said to me, how did something that was so mainstream in the 60s and 70s now seem so dramatic that it takes the futuristic Asian man to bring it back into the light? And what we agreed was that somehow over the last number of decades, we have become confused that economic value and human value are the same things. In Nevada, they are not the same things. What you have to say to the rest of our country on February 3rd is that we and our children all have intrinsic value as Americans, as citizens, and as shareholders of the richest country in the history of the world. This is how we can make it work for your kids, for your families, for your town. Because the reality is this. Let's say nothing changes February 3rd. What happens over the next 4 years? Stores close, AI gets smarter, robot trucks start inching towards the highways. Like, are things gonna get better over the next 4 years or worse over the next 4 years, realistically? they're probably going to get worse in a lot of places. A lot of places here in Iowa. We cannot miss this chance. There are not many chances like February 3rd, Monday at 6:30, to be able to turn the tide, to humanize this economy to work for us and our families. As your president, instead of measuring our economic progress by how these companies are doing, I will measure it by our health and life expectancy, our mental health and freedom from substance abuse, clean air and clean water, proportion of Americans who can retire in quality circumstances, childhood success rates. These are the real measures of our country's progress, and I will present them to you every year at the State of the Union. I'll be the first president to use a PowerPoint deck at the State of the Union. The truth is, you can't solve problems if you don't know they're there. Donald Trump is our president today because he had a very clear and simple message. He said he was going to make America great again. What did Hillary Clinton say in response? America's already great. You remember that? It's been a long 3 years, I know, Nevada. But it's coming to an end. That response did not go over well for many Americans because the problems are real. We have to acknowledge the problems and their depth and severity, but then we need solutions that will actually move our communities and our country forward. What were Donald Trump's solutions? Build a wall, turn the clock back, bring the old jobs back. Nevada, we have to do the opposite. We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our economy and society to rise to the real challenges of the 21st century, like climate change. We have to evolve in the way we see ourselves and our work and our value. I am the ideal candidate for this job because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. Thank you all very much. Nevada, you may not know this, but math is an acronym. What does it stand for? Make America think harder. That's right. That is your job on February 3rd. It's your job to move this country we love so much. Not left, not right, but forward. And I know that's just where you will take us. Thank you all. Thank you. I think we have some time for some questions.
Question? Andrew, I'm one of the deciders on the Channel 13, the Channel 13's deciders, and I asked if you'd have 2 beers with me, so I wonder if you'll have 2 beers with me?
Well, I can't say no to one of the deciders on Channel 13, so yeah, of course. This will be so exciting. They serve beer in this establishment? They do? All right, let's do it then. That was a good question. Kind of question I like.
What do you say to the detractors that say the 12,000 will just get absorbed in higher taxes, less benefits, and higher prices?
This money in our hands, first, is not taxable, so it's very hard for it to disappear to taxes. It can push your other income up a smidgen, but the tax rates don't really work like that. That money would somehow get sucked up. The main concern people have, and this is reasonable, is they think, well, won't prices go up if we have this money? And so the examples I use, what's like a good place to go to dinner in Nevada? Bicasita. How much is dinner at Bicasita? Let's call it $18. So I'm your president a year from now. You get the freedom dividend sometime thereafter, and you're very excited. So then you go to Bicasita, but instead of $18, the price is $28. How do you respond? Are you like, no problem, I'm rich now? No, of course not. You're like, why the heck did this go up $10? This was like $10 cheaper yesterday. And then you look at it and say, maybe I can go to a place that's not Bicasita. Maybe I'm going to look around. As long as you still have price sensitivity, which you would have among us, because we all still love to get a value, and you have competition between establishments, then you're not going to see massive price increases in most markets. The markets that have had inflation over the last number of years are unfortunately the markets that make us all sad. That's education, healthcare, and housing. So those markets are not going up in price because we have so much money. They're going up in price because their business models enable them to just raise their prices all the time, and we feel like we have no choice but to pay. So we have to attack the sources of inflation in those three core areas of American life because they're making us so miserable. But you're not going to see price increases across other things like clothing, food, electronics, cars, because those are very, very competitive, dynamic markets. And I have individual plans to get the cost of school down, to get the cost of healthcare down, and to get the cost of housing down.
In order to get the freedom dividend instituted, you couldn't do that, I don't think, by presidential decree. Would you need an amendment to the Constitution? How do you achieve that?
I love this question so much because I've thought about it a lot. All right, let's say, thanks to you all, Andrew Yang wins Iowa, February 3rd. Can you imagine those national and global headlines? People would be like, what just happened? It'd be very fun. I guarantee if we win Iowa, we win New Hampshire, because New Hampshire's third party is libertarians, and libertarians love this stuff. So we win Iowa, we win New Hampshire. People realize, wow, we can do this for ourselves? Like, this is actually better than anyone else is talking about. I become president a year from now. Now, the Democrats and progressives are so thrilled to have beaten Donald Trump. They're like, let's pass his flagship proposal, put money into families' hands. It'll make people stronger, healthier, mentally healthier. But here's the kicker. What are Republicans going to say to the dividend? The state that passed a dividend, Alaska, is a deep red conservative state, and it was passed by a Republican governor. Many conservatives do not mind economic freedom in people's hands. What do conservatives detest? A giant bureaucracy making everyone's decisions for them, or us like taking money away from people. So you can imagine many people who represent rural areas and red states that have gotten blasted by automation looking up at this and being like, wait a minute, do I not like the dividend? This is actually a really good win, and it's traditionally bipartisan. I don't need 80% of Republicans and conservatives, I just need 20%. Then we pass it, and then you will all have this unfamiliar feeling of the government doing something that you actually love. But it's very, very doable, and if you go through the numbers, because I'm the numbers guy, I am the heaviest favorite to beat Donald Trump head to head, according to internet betting odds. It's people putting money down. And the reason for that is that one survey said 18% of college Republicans would choose me over Trump. Another poll said 10% of New Hampshire Trump voters would choose me over Trump. And you know who's figured this out? Trump and his team. Trump has tweeted about every candidate in the field except for me because he knows I'm better at the internet than he is. And I know that his team is worried about me because they were quoted in a private event saying if there's someone we're worried about, it's Yang. Now, most people haven't figured all this out yet, but you're figuring it out. And if you take this message to the rest of the country on February 3rd, then we can run the table and win this thing. And everyone will know I won on the dividend. It's a very clear, powerful idea that would actually improve our way of life. I'm not running for president because I dreamt about being president. I'm running for, trust me, those were not the conversations in the Yang household. My parents were not like, you're gonna be president someday. They were like, you're terrible, clean your room. I'm running for president because I'm a parent, like so many of you. I have seen the future that lies ahead for our kids, and they deserve better. I want to give them better, and I need your help to do it. But if enough of us get on board with this, then we can win this whole thing and then pass the dividend and put the resources that are leaving your community back into your hands where they belong.
This
this is a little bit off your normal topic, but you talked about leaders and followers and dispersal of the DC side of it. Are you for or against those followers getting statehood? On DC,
You mean the folks in DC?
yes, there's an organization, Islands for DC statehood and so on. I know it's a push going across the country right now. Are you for or against or keep the status quo?
I'm for statehood for DC. I am. I mean, they pay taxes. If you pay taxes, you should have a representative. I like that question too. These are good questions here in Nevada.
Last question.
Hey, how's it going? What's your plan to actually distribute the money? And then within that, how do you plan on combating fraud for people not taking other people's $1,200 a month?
I'm going to quote a friend of mine, some of you will appreciate. A guy named Andy Stern. He said, "Our government is not great at many things, but it is exceptional at sending large numbers of checks to large numbers of people, promptly and reliably." The fact is, our government's pretty good at this. And so, all you would need to do is verify who you were, social security number, have some kind of account that we can transfer it in, and you'd be good to go. The toughest part is that a lot of people won't even have the wherewithal to actually plug into these resources because they're out on the street, addicted to drugs, or in some other state of affairs that they're not actually going to get the dividend, which makes sense. But one of the things I talk to homelessness advocates about is that when they find someone on the street, the first thing they try and figure out is whether that person is entitled to government resources of some kind. Because if they are, then it's like, oh good, I have some money I can use to help clean this person up. So post-dividend, we would know that each person actually has $1,000 a month coming to them, and so the resources being put towards trying to get people off the street and into a position where they'd actually be able to make use of these resources would be much, much higher. Because right now, what are the incentives for us to help that person on the street? Essentially zero. Like you have some nonprofits and government workers trying to do it. But our government literally sends tens of millions of these transfers a month right now. And so all it would take is for us to verify who we were, our citizenship, like the means of payment. They do this in Alaska every year really seamlessly. And one of the reasons why it works so well in Alaska and why it will work so well in the US, the way we're presenting it, is that we really don't need that much information from you. Because everyone's gonna get it, from the richest Alaskan to the poorest Alaskan in Alaska. So here all we have to do is figure out if you're an American and a citizen, and then you're good to go. That's one reason why, again, this would work in a way that many of the other proposals would not work, because this leans into one of the core competencies of our government. This is one of the things they're great at. So we can make this happen for everyone. Wouldn't that be a joyous day, bringing your kid in and be like, hey, let's get you plugged into the dividend. The kid would be like so happy. On a very, very brief note, I also want to say that you'd be getting this starting age 18, so you'd be a senior in high school. So we'd have every high school student have a financial literacy class before they start getting the dividend, because then they know better how to spend it. And then your senior spring, we would give you an option of spending a month in another part of the country to live and work with other Americans, the American Exchange Program, because it would give you great exposure to another part of the country, and you don't learn anything senior spring anyway. You'd essentially be doing a kid swap with someone else who's a senior in high school. But this would give citizenship real weight and meaning for our young people. They'd be like, oh, I'm coming of age, like I'm getting plugged in, and this country is investing in me. This country loves me and values me. So this is something that we can actually deliver on for our people. I'm a very practical guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the next President of the United States, Andrew Yang.
Thank you, Nevada.
Folks, Andrew's going to have a few minutes to mingle and take some photos, but we do have, unfortunately, another event lined up very quickly, so we'll have to take them pretty shortly, but thank you all so much for coming.
Okay, stream. Basically, here's the deal. We can win this race. We can shock the world in Iowa. On February 3rd. But the only way it's going to happen is if Andrew Yang gets our financial support. He needs our money, whether it's $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $8, $500, $1,000. What was Douglas donated $500? Here's the facts. We aren't a billionaire campaign like Tom Steyer who just flood all the early states with billboards and ads. We aren't Mike Bloomberg who can just drop $70 million ad buys. We rely on everyone like people like you, people like me, supporters in this room who on a grassroots level come out and support Andrew Yang for president. I'm going to restart my donation pitch. Okay, so here's the facts, guys. We are not Mike Bloomberg. We can't just drop $70 million ad buys and instantly get 10% support in the polls. We aren't Tom Steyer. We can't just load up on billboards in every single early state and ads and suddenly get the 15% in Nevada or South Carolina. We can't just... We don't take corporate money. We don't take money from freaking big like corporations and oil companies and energy companies and all that. So the only way we get to make everything here happen and fun for his campaign. Look, see, Carly likes it. Carly wants your money. So the campaign needs your guys, people like you all watching the stream. They need people like me. They need people like everyone here in this room. Grassroots powered, small dollar fundraising to get this guy elected. And the only way it's going to happen is with your guys' help. We can truly win this race, but we need your financial support. That's the only way it's going to happen. We need your money. Andrew has a fantastic new ad. I think it's the best ad that he's ever done, and it's a minute long. And I think we need to fundraise it. Either way, we need donations. We need them. We need your money. We need your money. I don't know who the Channel 13 decider was and who they look like. Because I'm trying to get you guys to donate. Okay, I gotta get Andrew before he gets out of here. We're gonna get Andrew's attention real quick. Because Douglas is the top donor at $500, and Douglas gets a shout out from Andrew Yang. Andrew, could I get a shout out for Douglas, who donated $500?
Thank you, Douglas. Appreciate that.
Hi. Hey, Julian. Are you just staying here, or are you going to the next thing right now? Okay, who was the Channel 13 person? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna leave this camera here. I gotta ask someone a question.
Buddy, I'll give you that because you're carrying a lot of foot there. So yeah, hopefully see you at
Okay, let me go try to get the Channel 13 lady, even though I really got to use the bathroom. But this is what y'all want.
I registered as a Republican for the last couple of years.
What the? A C-SPAN bus? That's wild.
C-SPAN.
Excuse me. Were you the Channel 13 lady?
Yeah, I'm the
Do you mind if I ask you just a few questions?
That would be fine,
you, sir.
except I don't want to be out here.
Yeah, we can go back inside. I just didn't want to be in their way.
I know, that's, I moved so they could get out. But.
I'll get this for you.
Sorry, thanks.
Andrew Yang. This will work right here. Basically, I run this YouTube live stream called the Zach and Matt Show. Like, we go around following all of Andrew Yang's events. And the moment they heard that you were from the Channel 13 thing, was that the thing where they went around like asking everyone who they would most want to have a beer with or something like that?
Well, was at one of our meetings.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And I'm the one who said I would like to have 2 beers.
Yeah. So, how did you first hear about Andrew Yang?
Well, interestingly, you may not know the name Leslie Smith, but Leslie Smith is one of those like mega fighters. You know those.
The name sounds familiar, but
Google her when you have a chance. Leslie Smith. She's one of those ultra fighters, and she, like more than a decade ago, was my son's girlfriend.
Oh wow.
So I hadn't seen or heard of her in a really long time. She and I ended up talking over Messenger, and she said, you know, you got to pay attention to Andrew Yang, and she does events for him. So, yeah, that's it. So it was such a weird coincidence that somebody that I knew from so long ago was connected to this guy I had really hardly heard of, and I started paying attention to him. And then I went and listened to him speak at Franklin Junior High in Des Moines. And hearing him speak live, he's so engaging and practical and human. So I became a fan, but I was still undecided for a very long time, which is how I got on that group of the deciders. We were all undecided. That was why we were trying.
And where would you rank Andrew now? Are you still undecided, or?
I'm not sure where that all is going to come out on the Channel 13 thing. I've been officially saying I'm undecided, but I hope to see Andrew as my vice president.
Interesting. Well, appreciate it. Appreciate your time. It's really nice to meet you.
Really nice to meet you. What's the name of your?
Zach and Matt Show.
Zach and Matt.
Yep. If you look us up on Google or YouTube, we'll pop right up. So.
And how's that last word spelled? Zach and.
ZACH and MATT, Matt, and then Show.
Matt. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And what was your name again?
Ann.
Nat. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Take care. Let me see how the audio picked this up.
Alright, Matt. Can I get, do I have your number?
Probably not. I have like 3 phone numbers, and I'm always switching out the SIM cards. So if one of them doesn't work, yeah, it's just that happens. How do I even find my phone number? Because I only know one of my numbers.
Okay. Tell you what, I could just message you on.
Yeah, just Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
How'd you get these rates to your phone?
Oh, it has a Wi-Fi transfer function.
Because this is, well, I don't want to throw shade, but I think this is the best photographer in the Yang Gang.
I would agree.
Okay, fair.
He did, like,
Being
send some
humble,
really
being
nice, stuff today,
so good to see you guys again.
Yeah, man. So I don't know what they're doing next up before the Chappelle.
See you guys. Let's see how it's done. I gotta go use the bathroom, and then we're gonna give shout outs to all of our donors. Yeah.
Thank you, Van.
Man Van for the $25 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Yi for the $10 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Leo for the $27 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Catherine for the $2 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Shai Shank for your $5 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Aisha for your $10 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you James for the $50 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Matt for the $10 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Ruth for the $4.58 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Pranav for the $1 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Hogan for the $25 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Thank you Brief for the $1.08 donation through theyangame.com. It's theyangame. Thank you Taryn for the $25 donation to Andrew Yang through theyangame.com. Michael for the 10. Timothy with the 5. Tyler with the 5. Chris with the 2020. Our big winner who got the shout out, Douglas with the $500 donation. Thank you David for the $2.50 donation. Thank you Colin for the $1 donation. Thank you Carol for the $1 donation. Thank you Carlo for the $2.50 donation. Thank you Matt for the $4.56 donation. David with the $1.09 donation. Carlo with the $1.28 donation. Colin with the $4.20 donation. Pranav with the $3.33 donation. Danielle with the $4.35 donation. Randy with the $4.98 donation. Jorge with the $4.20 donation. Crystal with the $3.50 donation. Kim with the $5 donation. David with the $1.05 donation. And I think that caption says up to where we were at the beginning. Let me reload that blue. Slow internet. Okay, and that's everything.
Keep up the good work, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We all watched all your stuff.
Awesome. Bye, everybody. I'm tired. Tomorrow, we have four town halls tomorrow.